What's up my beautifuls, another video that's not a gameplay today. This video was actually supposed to be made a long time ago, but I kind of forgot to do it, not gonna lie. The Tierlist was made literally 6 months ago though, so if you do enjoy this sort of shit, obviously tell me. If you want to see more, tell me. This is a full list of every single gun in the game, as you can see, perfectly cut out by Jakube-K himself and labeled. So I made this custom tier list, and we're gonna put them in these tiers right here. And you can disagree with me, you can violate the shit out of my tier list, or you can agree with it, I don't mind. But anyway, because it's going to take like 40 minutes, might as well just begin. So we're going to go through every single gun here. ABR223. So the tiers right now are Divine, Legendary, Epic, Good, Usable, Ass, Retarded, and Questionable. I mean this is kind of usable, ain't gonna lie. I would say it's going towards the Ass tier. It's a burst gun, and burst guns usually already like weaker in this game. You can't use Brawler with them properly. The upgrade path of this gun is okay. It's like reasonable, so it is what it is, I guess. It's just fine. Other than early game, I would never use this gun. The AN94, you kind of it's a weird gun because it's a blackjack, so it has the bullshit where you never pick this gun out because where is it? The Eco Hawk slash Dual Bore. This you'll just pick this shit out always instead of the AN. It's not a bad gun in particular. It's what the shittier side of the second choice of guns in blackjack, but it is reasonably good. I think it's quite a cool gun to use as well. It's definitely different, and it's not garbage to the point where it is unusable. So I'd say this is good. I think I could easily drop 30s with this, no problem. Oh my god, the Argus. I actually have a feeling I might want to put this in the retarded tier, but for now we'll put it in the ass tier. This gun is basically a MOG that just went retarded, like, ain't gonna lie. This gun does no damage. It's not like the Argus in multiplayer where you can at least like one-shot people, because you will never one-shot with it. You will never even two-shot with this gun. It's horrendously... This gun is actually built different, like, oh god. I would never recommend anyone take this shit out. And it's from a blackjack, so you have to sacrifice a Eco Hawk or a VMP for it. That's just retarded, bruv. The Augur, I think this is going to be the first one we're going to have something in the same tier. Now this is big map. This is one of the better guns on big map, but on Alcatraz it's not actually that good. The upgrade path of this gun is quite reasonable, because when you do pick it up it's kind of ass. You do want at least long barrel on this shit. I'd say it's usable, and if I were to argue if it's better or worse than the ABR, I mean they're kind of similar. It's not a burst, but it is semi-auto. I mean, I'll probably say... we'll see at the end, innit? We'll see at the end. The reason I have melees, for example, is because there's a lot of melees, and some of them do make sound, and others don't. So there are actual melees that are garbage and good. I don't use melees, I might not realize. The backhander, I mean, it is what it is, I guess. It's a reasonable thing. Obviously, melees are a lot weaker in here than in, for example, multiplayer, because you have brawlers, so literally any of this could be a melee weapon. I'm gonna just put backhander here. We'll see. We'll rank all the melees at the bottom anyway, because it's more questionable, because it serves its purpose, but it's not exactly a gun in the first place. The GKS Op, one of the best 45 cal guns, never runs out of ammo, because you just get ammo from people who redeploy. This might be one of our first top tier weapons. In my opinion, I think I'll take this over all of these. Might be legendary going into the divine tier. For now, we'll put it in legendary. Basically, this gun melts people. Definitely much better than the normal GKS. Because normal GKS basically has really slow time to kill. It's kind of retarded. The blunder gap, people are going to be like, what the fuck is this? This gun was in the game a long time ago. It was the signature weapon of Alcatraz. It got removed. It used to be like a 10-shot gun, which sort of worked similarly to the MOG, but it was actually ass. I mean, I'm gonna put it in a question mark because it doesn't even exist, but it's cool to include it. If it did actually exist, I mean, it might be somewhere close to the August, bruv. And it only came out of supply drops. Sorry, not supply drops. Mystery boxes. The Bowie knife, definitely the worst one of these. The reason the Bowie knife is ass is because it makes a sound when you pick it up from zombies. And also when you pick it up from the boxes, it also makes a lot of sound. So, bro, for example, in a lot of my gameplays, I'll be in cafeteria and I'll be hearing people pick up Bowie knives when they're in the infirmary, or if they're in the basement. It's just no point with that, to be honest. So It's kind of dumb. Cha-ching. From what I'm aware, this is basically not much difference here. It's whatever. Definitely better than the bow knife though. Cordite. Okay, we got our first like reasonably normal gun I might actually pick up and use. I mean, I'd say this is it's definitely a good gun. It lacks on damage and time to kill, sort of. It kind of kills slow, but it does have a lot of ammo. The upgrade path is cool because that's hybrid mags. It's 9mm though, so it does run out of ammo. There are much better than this gun, obviously, but I think it's definitely something like quite on a good or epic tier. One reason why I think it would be better than the AN, first of all, it's an SMG, so overall it's already at an advantage, and also it's not in a blackjack, so you don't have to like trade this shit out. Oh my god, the Damon. I literally hate this shit gun. It has 45 cal, which is one good part about it. It's not horribly bad, but it's just annoying to use. I would probably say like, I mean, it is usable. It's definitely better than these guns. I would rather take an AN over this shit though. When you use Brawler with this, it's a burst, so Brawler will not pop properly. It will not hit register properly because it's a burst. The upgrade path with this gun is actually not too bad, but again, I think the gun is kind of ass in my opinion. The Hades op, Koresh's Hades. Shout out to my guy Koresh with his fucking sexy ass Hades. This Hades is divine, bro. Like, oh god, this Hades be divine. These Newtown kids, like, they bless my Hades and I just go brum 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 and nuts the whole lobby. You get, in comparison to the original Hades, it's a night and day difference. Basically, you get the best strafe speed out of any gun possible. Basically, you get a shit ton of ammo. The accuracy is really good. It plays very uniquely as well, and it's very fun to use. Very fun to get gameplays with this gun in particular. I would probably, in some cases, trade this out over an Eco Hawk in many predicaments. Anyway, the Eco Hawk, or Double Cross as it's known now, ever since like the 21st of December or something, 2021. Yeah, this gun, it is overall statistically better than the Hades. Obviously, you know, it's divine because it's just divine. It is what it is. Definitely the best option as a second tier, in my personal opinion. So this whole list is personal opinion, by the way. Definitely the second best option. Definitely the best option as the second gun from Blackjack. It's not really much of a question there. There are some other guns that you can pick, and I'll talk over those later. But this is my favorite one. It's an LMG/AR combine. So you basically you extend your range towards the LMG spectrum. Something like this Peacekeeper, which is somewhere here, is also a very good choice, but the Peacekeeper goes towards the SMG spectrum, so when you take out a VMP and you take a Peacekeeper, they sort of overlap. This doesn't overlap. Also, it melts people. It absolutely beasts them. It's just built different like that. The Essex model, oh my god. Ain't gonna lie, this is technically better than these, because you can at least get perks on this. It's a cool fact about this gun, you can actually two-shot people if they have a trauma kit. If you hit them in the head, and if they have armor, it doesn't matter if they have armor, it's still a two-shot. So this gun does do some weird shit, but overall, I don't know who thought of the balancing of this gun. It's actually basically useless in every single mode. It's useless in zombies, it's useless in blackout, it's useless in big map. I've never seen a use for this gun. I will pick it up usually if I redeploy and I'm playing on squads. It's a decent gun to like try and piss people off with, because it does have reasonably okay velocity, and if you do hit something, it is better at range than a Strife, and it doesn't have drop. So that's basically the only time it comes from walls. So some of these guns will come from walls. I mean, Damon's on the wall. I'm pretty sure these two might be on the wall. So you do get that benefit. From wall guns, you can actually find them consistently, but overall, this thing is ass. The Eye of Apophis, I'm pretty sure makes more noise than both of these, so we're gonna put it behind it. Because when you do this shit, you get that big blast of purple shit coming out, and then also the sound, so that's why this is garbage. I don't think we're actually gonna have a gun here. Oh, and as you can see, I actually put fists in here, because contrary to popular belief, fists are actually better than some of these guns in this game, which is quite weird. I'm gonna probably put this shit... I mean, I guess we'll put it all the way back. The reason fists are better, and you'll see it when I put the other guns in, you have 100% movement speed when you have fists. And that's it. some guns you actually lose movement on. So for example, Eagle Hawk, one of the bad things about this gun is that you lose movement. Same with Hades, because they're all in the LMG spectrum, so you lose mobility there. The full stop. I mean, I guess we'll put it somewhere here. Again, I don't use melee weapons, so it's not really like I give a shit about these ones. Maybe I'll put like what my favorite is later, so you'll be able to find that out. The VMP. Well, I think everyone knows where this is gonna go. The most consistent gun in the whole game, which makes it basically the best, statistically. It can fit into most ranges, medium, short, even can go into long. The upgrade path is beautiful on this gun. Only issue is it comes from blackjacks, but that's not really a thing. That's a problem. This gun has no competition in blackjack either, because there is no other gun which you would rather pick over it for your first slot. So it's basically a gun that everyone will pick out. It's known to be the best consistently, and even I would believe so. I don't believe it's overrated or anything. If you want to get a 30 bomb, VMP will make it easier. If you want to get a 40, I need a VMP as well. But yeah, I think everyone understands why it's not going to be on this spot. GKS. This is another one which is weird. Kind of a shit gun because it does no damage. It has a lot of ammo. That is one thing that actually goes well for it. So in early game, it is quite decent. It does take 45, so you will be able to get... You won't run out of ammo for this shit. But it is kind of ass. I mean, it's kind of okay. The reason it's better than the AN is because AN has the blackjack bullshit, where you will never find it because it comes from blackjack, and you'll always take these two guns usually, or the other combinations I'll go over in this video. So that's ass, but this shit you can actually find on the floor. It will be useful in early game, or even if you redeploy and try and find it off a wall. The Grav, oh my god, the Grav. The Grav is some... This Grav be built different on God, like with my Sim Apex 00 stat for Grav. Absolutely beastly. I'm thinking epic or even legendary. I would probably say in some cases might be on a legendary tier. It's not quite divine, because when you see what's up here, you will understand why. The Grav, or the Galil, as some people might call it. Absolutely beautiful, especially with a 2x scope and full stack upgrade path. It's basically a Man of War from Black Ops 3, so a beast, like, has very good damage. It's what the Rampart is supposed to be in this game, because the Rampart is the Scar H variation, but the Rampart is ass. The Grav filled its role, and it does it very well. It's kind of similar to a worse version of an Eco Hawk, a poor man version Eco Hawk, which comes off the ground. It does actually exist. This might... Oh no, it doesn't. Sorry, it doesn't exist in blackjack, which is reasonable as well. It's only from the floor. The only thing that's really shit about this gun is some guns, in particular, you can't use fast mags on them because you can't triangle glitch, or YY if you're on Xbox. This is one of the guns you can't use fast mags on. Another gun like this is the Raygun Mark II and Zombies. You just can't reload that shit properly, so you have to use extended mag on this, whereas in most other cases I might use fast mags on my guns. Hades. Well, unlike Koresh's Hades up here, this thing is ass. I'm gonna lie. I mean, I guess it's usable. To be honest, in most cases, I would rather take this over the Ogre or ABR, because at least it can spam shoot, so you can just spam the shit out of people. And even though it does give you movement penalties, as long as you put yourself in a situation where you can slide jump out on someone, you will keep the slide and jump movement. The Daemon overall is better though, because it has actual consistency. You can actually move this shit. You're not a tree engraved into the ground. It's very much night and day between the Hades and the Hades Op, because the Hades Op you can just move around like Flash, and this shit you just stuck into the ground. It's a bit of a rest in peace for you in that predicament. Javelina AA50, so this is another path you could take for blackjack. VMP Javelina. This thing I've never used in the game. It's reasonable. It's usually a 1-shot or a 2-shot. As a sniper though, it doesn't really fulfill its role perfectly, especially because snipers need sniper scopes. Otherwise they look a bit weird with 2x, 3x ones. And sniper scopes, unfortunately, are quite rare because no one picks them up, so they don't get funneled in through people. Like, people don't pick it up, so they won't travel. They'll just get lost in the ground. I guess this is just kind of retarded, to be quite honest with you. I would probably say the Essex model. I think the Essex model obviously would be worse. Yeah, I would think so. The only thing that's better about the SX model is it doesn't have movement penalty, so a lot of snipers you'll see will actually be worse probably than the SX model. Oh, the Helion Salvo. This thing is so bad it's actually worse than Fists. I would rather have Fists because Helion Salvo, first of all, it's not like Warzone RPGs where they actually do damage. This doesn't do that. This is for vehicles. Guess what? There's no vehicles in Alcatraz, bro. The best thing you're gonna have is a barricade, and actually just jump over that shit anyway, so who cares? So yeah, that's a rest in peace. I would rather have Fist and pick this up. So like in all cases, when I pick this up off the ground accidentally in the early game, I'll just switch to Fists because it's much better off. Because you need to be fast. This shit, you will be in the ground, defenseless, and you will be slow as shit. You will be horribly at a disadvantage. Home wrecker. Oh my god. When you punch this guy, you're gonna make the atomic bomb echo throughout the whole of the world. The shotgun shells that come out of this gun just give away. I could hear some guy like across the map because he has this gun. He has this melee weapon. Because you smack the shit out of someone and it explodes them so you can hear it across the map. That's just ass. Like, why would you melee someone and give away your position 24/7? That's retarded. ICR-7, basically like the default gun in this game. Like every Call of Duty has like that one gun that's like just default. This is basically it. That doesn't mean it's actually garbage. It's quite reasonable. I'd say it's in some form either legendary or epic. I think we're going towards the possibly legendary side of here. I would still prefer the Grav. The Grav has more recoil but more damage, and the ICR has less recoil. It's like a melt machine. But I think this is a reasonable place to put it. It might be better to put it below the GKS op. I think both of these might be below the GKS op actually. I think overall, yeah. SMGs have a very much bigger precedent in Alcatraz over AR, so you'll see that be a common theme. The ABR operator mod so has a repeater on it. This is reasonable. It's actually better than the original. Where's the original? There. It's kind of ass, but this one's actually quite decent. Like, it's usable. It's still not that great, but I would take it over most of these guns. I don't know about the Daemon though. I mean, I would probably still take this. A good effect about all of these as well is when you pick the purple ones up, they will come with full attachments, so they already have an upgrade path on them. And what you get with this gun is actually quite reasonable. It does melt most people. If you have perks, it will be usable. The Cap 45. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, this gun is kind of ass. I mean, I might even move some of these down into ass tier because I don't know if these are actually that usable. I would probably put this shit like here, because surprisingly, even though it's pretty ass because it's a pistol, it technically does better than these two in my opinion. Because first of all, you're never gonna have any of these other than early game, and this gun actually does better than these two in early game because it's closer to the close range spectrum. These ones are literally, this thing is nearly a sniper, bro. Like, who needs that shit? Oh yeah, another cool fact I remembered about the Daemon. One of the good parts about this gun is you can actually use rapid fire on it. So if you're weird, I guess you can use that in a vendetta, like a bad boy, because you're built different like that. The KN, basically the AK of this game. I mean, I guess we'll put them into legendary as well. I think we might put some of these down. We'll put like this down maybe, or actually, I think, in my opinion, I don't know why, but I was never a big fan of the KL. Now, that doesn't mean it's horribly garbage. Like, if I gotta use it, it's actually quite decent. But I would prefer more so these guns than the KN. And I think we'll put this down as well, just to make space. I mean, we'll reorganize it at the end. These are epic. The reason I would rather prefer this over this, even though this the one thing, first of all, that's really good about this, unlike its brother, the AN. The KN actually has hybrid mags as an upgrade path, so you can have a very good magazine option there. And it takes 7.62 as well instead of 5.56. So it's some reasonable ammo, because usually, mostly 5.56 gets used around the map. That's another bonus about Double Cross. It takes 7.62 instead of 5.56, so the ammo is more common. KN, I just don't like the recoil of this gun, and also, I wouldn't. It doesn't feel like it feels sort of the same way the Rampart does, where it doesn't feel naturally amazing, although it's much better than Rampart. I would just preferably use an ICR Grav. These feel more comfortable to me. I guess it's maybe because I'm not a blackout player, I'm a league player in some form, so I used to grind at the Grav because that's what Safa taught me to do with my Zim Apex, my ICR, camping back spawn on head glitches, you know what I mean. Anyway, Ogre DMR OP. This is the one where it shoots 2 bullets. This is actually really good, by the way. I might actually have to put this in Legendary. This shit do be melting people cross map, on God. Especially if they have no armor, this should just be beastin'. So anytime I get this, like, it's actually quite decent. You don't really get to use this gun too much because it's kind of rare, but overall, absolutely beautiful. I think we're gonna put it like... We might either put it here or Epic. We'll put it in Epic for now. Oh my god, the Koshka operator. This must be probably the most useless operator in the game. All this does is makes it so if you just tap your aim button, your hip fire goes smaller on this gun. But why would you want that when this gun is just ass in the first place? I mean, I guess you can use a brawler on it, so it's good, but I would literally rather take an Essex model than this piece of shit, to be quite fair with you. I guess the bonus of this is it comes with attachments, which is nice. I would still rather take the Essex model, I ain't even gonna lie though. Anyway, Koshka, default, no attachment. Yeah, that's his ass, bro. At this point, I would possibly consider taking these. Only benefit with this is you technically have brawler capabilities, so it does make it dope. Winter's Fury. I would say it's like second best. The reason it's not as good as a VMP, even though it is technically statistically a better gun to use for kills, it is not as consistent. If you were just to use a Winter's Fury, you would be at a very high disadvantage than if you were to just have a VMP. The wideness that this gun can capture is much better than than what the Fury can. This is very much centered around short range or slightly medium range engagements. The ammo though it uses is better, obviously. It reloads really fast if you do the glitch. The time to kill of this gun is amazing. It also gives you the protection bonus from no one being able to see where you are, because this shit literally shoots out snow, shoots out a whole blizzard. It shoots out Mount Everest at your face, so you can't shoot back like everyone's bots. So this thing is really good. If you look at the first and second best game in the world, both have used Winter's Fury, so the 50 and the 48. It is possibly arguably, or could be argued, that to beat those games you would need a Winter's Fury in the first place, but it does fall short in the fact that it doesn't actually have consistency. So VMP in my opinion is better, especially because VMP, if you supplement the Winter's Fury's abilities with perks, brawler mobility, it actually catches up quite well with what the Fury can do. We actually haven't got to my favorite gun in the game yet, but you'll find out later in this video what my favorite gun in the game is. The Locust is actually a reasonable gun, probably the best sniper in the world. Again, I don't know why you would take a Locust instead of an Eco Hawk, so that's why it's more retarded, because I don't know who's even picking this shit up. It is good though, it does one-shot people. It's the best sniper in the game, technically, overall. Quite a bit. Very close to the Javelina though, because the Javelina is quite good as well. There's not really much to say about this. It's basically how snipers sort of should have been in this game in the first place, but you know, it is what it is. The M16, oh my god. Ain't gonna lie, I don't know who balanced this gun, but this shit is kind of ass. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna probably put this shit here, I ain't gonna lie. But Damon is actually not that bad. So I hate this gun, usually, unless I have to use it, then fine, I'll love it, because it's the only gun I have. But now thinking about what's actually below this shit, like, yeah, this thing looks quite juicy in comparison to some of these other guns here. Just saying. Oh, the Sorg, the big juicy Sorg. This gun is beautiful, absolutely wonderfully amazing. That's gonna be difficult to rank, because all of these divine tier weapons are really, really good, like really godly, amazing. I think we're gonna put it here though. The Sorg is basically a VMP that is not from a blackjack, poor man's version VMP basically. I will put it below the double cross because the double cross has exceptionally good capabilities in a range that is not very much how would you call it, thickened by other competitors. So this doesn't really have much to compete with in this range. The Sorg does, in fact. VMP, Switchblade, basically any SMG. This thing though, I mean, is basically the best of its craft. The closest thing that comes towards it would be, I guess, Peacekeeper. But that actually goes towards the VMP range. So yeah, I think that's probably good. Sorg, just beastly, very good speed. Reload time is amazing. It's like a Uzi of this game. But not as shit as the Uzi, obviously. Also, it's one of the most beautiful guns in the game. I think this and the Maddox, well, Maddox is next. Definitely some of the most sexiest gun in the games. So whenever I use it, just the fact that it's sexy is quite nice. The one thing that's really retarded about this gun, I don't know who does this shit though. Whoever puts that shitty ass Mastercraft on this gun, I don't. That's basically, they would go down here with that. Like, on God, that Mastercraft makes this gun like 10 times worse. I don't know. Also, who the hell designed it so the Mastercraft has your iron sight be unusable, basically, like that. Who's gonna be looking for that shitty ass circle with big dildos in the center, bro? Like, you can't see shit with that. Anyway, my Maddox, like, I mean, you know, my Maddox is built like that. It's built different. Like, most of the people in Alcatraz who chat shit to me, like, they fear my Maddox in firing range. They won't ever play me once. So I guess we'll put the Maddox. I think we gotta do it, bro. The Maddox is epic. This gun is shit in Blackout, much better than MP. They took away most of the attachments that are actually good. They only replaced it with one good one. So the good attachment on Blackout is you have stock, so you can actually beam people halfway across the map. The bad part about this gun is that it has no quick draw 2, and that basically makes it shit. But if you're like me and you're a Zim Apex keyboarder, it's not a problem, bro. Like, my Maddox still be beaming people cross maps, so I'm gonna still put it in epic. I love the Maddox. Anytime I still want to get a 30 bomb with this. I've been quite close, 29, and there's gonna be a video eventually where I could just get my ass sparrowed by some guy. I guess my Zim Apex Maddox couldn't handle that shit, but it is what it is, isn't it? The Micro MG. Oh my god, this gun is like, is the second best to the VMP. This is only one usable spot for this to go into, and that would be here. The reason it's here, first of all, it suffers from being a number 2 in blackjack. No one ever picks this shit up other than the VMP. So that's already one thing that goes down. This is why it's not in Divine tier, because if you want to take this out, you have to sacrifice the VMP. Second of all, melts ammo really heavily, and that's why it's below this gun. This gun doesn't melt ammo at all, because you can find it forever. This gun melts 9mm very, very fast. The cost of 9mm for damage output is, I think, the highest in the game, actually. It's similar to how this gun works with 45 cal, but 45 cal you can replenish easily. So we're gonna put it in legendary. Obviously, it's better than some of these ARs, because you can actually kill people with this. Another good thing to mention about this gun is the wind-up time makes it really weird to try and punch people with Brawler. Not as weird as burst guns, but still interesting. And also, this gun gives you movement penalty, which is counterintuitive because it's an SMG. So this is an SMG and LMG hybrid, so it's skip. So imagine SMGs here, ARs here, and LMGs. This thing just skipped over the ARs and went to an LMG. So it, as a roll, it's very weird, in fact. It's actually good, it melts people, but it does have a lot of flaws, that's why it's not in Divine tier. This gun in MP, very good. Most of the faggots use it, but anyway, no, I'm just kidding. Mog. This gun is beastly. I usually die from it, from some weirdo who picks up a Mog and just 2-shots me in the back, because they're just goats like that. I guess we'll put it in Divine, to be quite fair with you. A lower Divine though, because I don't like using this gun. So again, this is a lot based on personal preference. I mean, you can disagree with this shit. I don't like using this gun because the playstyle you need to use for the Mog to be successful is a playstyle I don't like employing, because it is a time wasting playstyle. You need to elbow cover, you need to hold head glitches, you need to like play safe and wait for people. I don't do that shit, that's gay. The reason you can't push very effectively with this gun as well is because its time to kill is horribly bad. even though it might seem fast to you, but statistically it's the worst. Is I think worse than mostly everything on this list. So if you just directly go into someone, they're gonna melt your ass. So that's why you have to like wait and sit around. If you do that, it's a 2-shot kill gun, whereas all these are like, well, 6. So it makes it really easy to kill people, and especially the reload. Reload's really fast. You never run out of ammo with this gun either. The upgrade path is not fully needed, but it's really good. So you basically have a gun that you can just pick up out of nowhere. Like, it's basically everywhere, and it's amazing at that. Like, it's just perfect. Sorg is more consistent, that's why I would have it there. Another effect of this gun is Brawler doesn't work with it because it's a pump, so you can't Brawler people when you pump this gun. And if you do try, you'll have this retarded Brawler where it's mid-pump animation and it will never launch to people, so it's a rest in peace. Mozu. Now, a lot of people might, I guess it's a retarded gun, but it's not actually, because a lot of people don't use it. It's actually somewhere up legendary towards divine tier. I just don't know exactly where. We'll put it in maybe divine for now, I think. This gun is very similar to the MOG upgrade path, where the long barrel and the fast mag make the MOG really good. That's the same effect with the Mozu. When you put those 2 attachments on this gun turns out from being literally as bad as the Argus to being the best gun in the game. The upgrade path for this gun is legendary. It's absolutely amazing, and it can melt people. And if you know how to YY, it has the same effect as the Winter's Fury, so you can reload in like 0.01 seconds. It's actually one of the fastest reloads in the game if you can YY. I've always wanted to get a 30 bomb with this gun. The only issue is, again, I play solo squad, so I can't really ever do Maddox only or Mozu only challenges. Because, well, they're inconsistent. It's not like multiplayer where you can just pick your gun, pick your class. I actually have to find these guns, and when you're a solo squad, it's a bit of an L trying to do that. But these are the 2 guns I would actually do a challenge with, and then there's also a third one, which would be the Strife. Mozu, absolutely amazing. I think we might put it on legendary, possibly, if this gets too congested, but we'll find out later. But it's definitely a divine gun. Very fun to use, especially with perks, mobility in particular, and brawler, because this actually functions very well with that shit. I think that's about it for that gun. Only problem, obviously, is because it's a pistol. Well, it has no range, but that's the whole point of it. It's very much in a short range capacity. Put a Nico Hawk with it, put a Grav with it, yeah, you're fine. You're okay. War Machine. Again, one issue with this gun is because, again, it's rare. It's actually, funny enough, one of the 2 guns on this list, I'll give you a character skin, so I guess as a bonus. Get some kills, you get a Barry numbers. Oh wow, then you can flex it on your 1v1 matches on fighting against random green gem keyboarders. Anyway, I think this is quite divine. It's not as good as Mozu, obviously, because this runs out of ammo, you need to find it in supply drops. And also, if someone has reinforced, it's a full counter, unlike the Sparrow, because reinforced isn't a full counter to the Sparrow. This does counter this shit very easily, though. The best part about this gun is it just basically gets you free kills. You don't really have to worry too much about shit. And also, if people camp, usually they'll camp in the parade house or warden house or some other rooms. Just dash that in there, they'll die, and it's fine. Then you can push with your Zim Apex Brawler mobility combo with your Winter's Fury and just beast them. I think this is a reasonable place to put this shit. MP40. MP40 is a weird one because we might have a very congested divine tier. We'll put it on legendary for now. I'm just thinking if it's actually better than this shit or not. Possibly. Actually, I think it would be. What we're gonna do, we're gonna put these here instead. Because these, they both have very, very big weaknesses. Which is low ammo, you can't find this shit. And this one is, you need to have an upgrade path for this gun. Otherwise, you're literally never going to get a kill with this piece of shit. These ones are already consistent enough as they come. MP40 is like a package deal. You literally, it doesn't have an upgrade path, which is why it's so good. If it did have an upgrade path, it might be somewhere here, to be quite honest. Imagine like attachments on this gun. Maybe you'll drop a 60 bomb. Anyway, this gun, because it has no attachments, it has like built-in MP stock, not blackout stock. It does also have like basically a built-in blackout stock though for the recoil control. Damage wise, it's the best SMG damage out of all of the SMGs from what I'm aware. and it melts people. The greatest place I like to use this shit on is on American servers, because I like heavier guns on American than lighter guns. So for example, I hate using 45 cal guns, especially the Damon, because this gun is a piece of shit. If you use that MP40, this actually hits pretty heavily. So, and also because of the one advantage of high ping, which is like your burst will curve. If you curve your MP40 bullets, that's better than if you curve a GKS bullet, because a GKS bullet will do nothing. MP40 can beam people, and I think this is also the same way Safa operates, where he will use a Grav, it's basically an MP40 but an AR. So I do the same thing with MP40 on high ping. It's better than the Mog, because again, as I said, I don't like Mogs. They're not in my playstyle. MP40 fits much better in. The only thing about this gun which is horrible is the velocity. I would probably rather use a Hades op. Yeah, I probably would rather use a Hades op. The velocity of this gun is not anything amazingly horrible, but you do have to learn it. So if you're new, you might actually think this gun is somewhere like shittier tiers or something. MX9. This is like an MP40, but just shittier. So I mean, I guess it's just good, to be honest with you. I ain't gonna lie. It's sort of similar to a Cordite, but I would preferably take the MX9 over that shit. Sorry, I'd rather take the Cordite because it has more ammo. MX9, it does decent damage. It's reasonable. The upgrade path is stupid though, because it has no full grip. So you just mess around looting with shit, which I can't be asked to do. And it's just like a default gun. Like you pick it up early or mid game and just never really use it again. It is what it is, I guess. Nifody. Big ass claw looking ass thing. I've never used it in my life. I mean, it's a melee weapon, so it's somewhere here. It's on this side because it doesn't actually do sound, whereas these ones definitely do. Oh, Spitfire operator mod. Now this one's actually an interesting one. I'm just thinking if it's rather be in legendary or up here. I think we're gonna put this in legendary. And we're gonna, because this gun is an absolute beastly gun. Oh my god. The fastest firing gun in the whole entire game. I do believe it is, I think, faster than Micro, but I might be wrong. I think Micro might be faster. The reason this is better, first of all, not in Blackjack, you'd have to sacrifice the MP. Second of all, never runs out of ammo. Third of all, if you bust this in with perks, oh my god, you will annihilate people. The amount of annihilation that this will cause, the amount of traumatization and genocide and war crimes this can commit on people is just different. Like the VMP, even though it's a good gun, it doesn't commit the same war crimes as a Spitfire operating mod, like on god. And also when you have like a Zim Apex like me, and then you're like the #1 blackout keyboarder, you will have no recoil on this gun at all. This shit will just beam across the map. Like you can beam people from Cell House to Mortal Industries. I have no problem with this, like obviously, so it's fine. Oh my god, I forgot this piece of shit even existed. This gun is so bad. Oh my god. Hold on. No. I think this gun is actually worse than Fist. Oh god. I would deadass rather have Fist than this big ass piece of shit. Whoever designed this gun, I don't know where their brain is. Maybe the brain is upside down and capsized, but this gun is it's that shitty gun from BO3. It was like the PO6 or something, where it's a burst sniper. The issue is when you have a burst sniper in Blackout and you don't account for it being different because of the armor system, this gun actually does this like less damage than an Essex model per burst, pretty much. And because it has this bullshit ass scope, which I don't think is even removable, makes it even worse. Oh no, it is removable actually. My bad. I would literally rather have Fist because at least I can run away from people. With this, you can't. You're fat. You basically ate 2 burgers and you ate the whole McDonald's. You can't move for shit. So yeah, get that shit out of my face. The normal Outlaw at least is like a bit better because you can actually, if you upgrade this gun enough, it actually does damage. So it's reasonable. Then obviously better. The way these work is this one is the lightest. This one is the heaviest. That's the middle one. Heaviest is always better. This is the heaviest. So that's how that works. Again, the snipers in this game are so disadvantaged, so these are all ass. Like, the only reason they're not below these melee weapons is because a brawler exists. Peacekeeper, the second option of Blackjack, I think we're gonna put it here. Better than the SOG in my opinion, because it fits its range of area slightly better. It's not as good as Double Cross. Actually, if you watch all of my older videos, you'll see I did used to use the Peacekeeper all the time. That was my meta. I don't believe a Peacekeeper is bad. I think it's very much a top tier gun. As you can see, it is still in top 4. Very, very top tier. If I have to pick this up, I will still beam with it. I still enjoy using it. It's just, as a gun itself, yeah, it doesn't fit the role that you need a second gun to fit. So it will overlap with the VMP's range. The Eco Hawk / Durable will not overlap. It will stretch the range and stretch your capabilities, so it will open you up to more opportunities. This gun, it does solidify itself in its range, which is sort of in between VMP and ARs, or VMP and ARs, but it doesn't open up too much further examinations, as in whatever, blah blah blah. Purifier, this shit also can get you a character, but this shit is ass. To be honest, I think I'd rather take this over. Wait, where'd the augers go? Yeah, there we go. I don't know. These guns are both so ass that, like, I don't even know which one's worse. Well, I guess we'll leave it as this. Purifier, the only time I'd ever pick this up is if I have no guns. And the only thing that's good about this is it has the same effect as the Winter's Fury, where the muzzle flash in quotation marks, because it's not really a flash, of the gun will mask you from enemies, so they won't really be able to shoot back too well because they don't know where you are, because all they see is this like big dragon fire breathing on their head. Same with the Winter's Fury, where it's just shooting Mount Everest at you. But with this gun, that's basically it. Other than that, shit ammo, shit damage. Oh yeah, the hit detection of this gun is the worst in the game because it doesn't shoot bullets, but it does shoot bullets in the registration of the game, so that's also retarded. I guess the one good thing is if you purify someone and they have a trauma, it goes off. Never been useful, but it's a cool side effect, I guess. Again, it's not like the most ass thing, like there's more shit that's worse, but this thing is quite low down. Rampage. Well, other than the early game, this gun is kind of useless. It's not like the worst gun in the game. I guess we'll put it here. Reason it's better than Hades. Hades, the recoil of this gun is horribly bad. Other than the early game, it's never useful. This shit, you can keep it for a bit longer, especially if you get long barrel and extended mags. It does become reasonable over time. It's still garbage though. I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory if you play the game. These guns, definitely more consistent. You can actually use them later on. Rampart. This gun is like, I don't know actually, to be honest. At this point, you know what's funny? A lot of people might think the Rampart is better than the Maddox. But because I'm a Zim Apex keyboarder, I mean, I just think this thing is good. Like, I ain't gonna lie. This gun is just annoying to use, in my opinion. In a lot of cases, I think I'd rather take these guns over it. To be actually quite honest with you, the AN-94 is probably a better gun than this piece of shit in most situations. So this thing, like, got quite collapsed, in my opinion. First of all, it's an AR, so that's why it's below these two, because these two are just overall better. AN, statistically better, and my Maddox. When I look at the Maddox, even though it's a shit gun, at least I have faith, because it's a Maddox. When I pick up this piece of shit, it's just, oh my god. It has a decent upgrade path. It's basically very similar to these ARs. The issue with this is, the fire rate is so ass, the damage is ass, the iron sights are kind of ass. I don't know why, but from my feeling, the velocity is ass. I'm not actually sure what they did. It's like Treyarch took the ICR and just nerfed mostly everything about it, and then made it a Rampart. So it's like, okay, cool. Technically, the damage is supposed to be good, but statistically it's not. Because I'm pretty sure it's because of how armor works. So it basically makes it exactly the same as an ICR, even though it has less fire rate. So it's kind of ass. Oh, the ray gun. Oh my god, I forgot about this gun. This gun is juicy. We're gonna put it. Where are we gonna put this? I think we're gonna put this into here, or maybe here. Ooh, Hades, Chris's Hades or the ray gun. I think we'll put Crisis Hades above. There's one reason this ray gun is not as good. First of all, there's 2 quirks with ray guns, or specifically shit that does splash damage. So this ray gun, and maybe RPG, but I think RPG is not that. It doesn't actually affect it. This thing, the quirk that is for those is you can't use it in parade ground. If you use it in parade ground, the ground will eat the bullet, the big orange. It will eat the orange that this thing shoots out. It will just eat it, devour it, like yum 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 yum, and it will do no damage. So you will shoot it, and it will evaporate basically in the whole of parade ground. The concrete texture that is there, like that long area of concrete, all of that, it will just eat this gun's bullets. So you don't want, and that's a very big issue because south side zones are much better for farming. So if you get the good zone and you go south side, this gun gets neutralized in its capabilities. But it is very, very good. Oh my god, this thing is like a war machine on steroids. It's just, it do be built different. This gun basically just gets you 6 free kills on guard. And even if people have reinforced, spam that shit, no problem. Splash damage wise, it's also much safer than the war machine because usually I don't take splash damage from this because the splash damage is like less, and it doesn't make as much sound. With this shit, shakes the whole ground, makes a whole earthquake, a whole map. Oh my god! And then all you hear is a boom boom boom. It's retarded. This shit, at least like it has electric sound instead of the fucking what would you call the explosive sound. That's why it's really good. Problem, no ammo, so that's why these guns are better. But it's definitely a fun gun to use. You'll see me just beating people down with this thing. Also, another thing that I didn't mention about this, you can't use brawler with this. This gun came from Alpha Omega. They never had a animation for punching with this gun. It was only a knife animation. So that's why you can't actually brawler with this shit, because I kind of got lazy, ain't gonna lie. Anyway, Ray Gun Mark II X. That was the V for, I don't know. V for Vendetta. Anyway, X. This gun is kind of ass, ain't gonna lie. It's basically a AR version of the ray gun. To be honest with you, this gun might be so shit, it might actually be in this tier. We might actually have a 3rd person on this tier, oh god. The question is, where would we put this though? I don't really know. I mean, I think it probably is worse than this shit, because it has no ammo. It's 33 bullets. Even though like you might get like 1 kill of this, at least with these you can use it for longer. Anyway, this gun, the shittest recoil I think in the whole entire game. It has the same recoil as the Spitfire Op, but not the same fire rate. Second of all, shittest damage of all time. Even if someone has no armor, damage is still shit. Third of all, it shoots particles. So the same thing as this. This shoots particles, this shoots particles, technically this shoots particles. Because it shoots particles, the velocity is the weakest out of any possible gun in the game, or any possible ammo range in the game. And also, you can't take ammo because it's just 1 magazine. It's only in boxes. Think about anything that's horrible about this gun, and you could probably find anything that's bad. You'll find it in this gun. You can't even use a brawler. If this gun technically could even be somewhere on this tier, because it's actually we will put it on retarded tier because this gun, I don't know who decided to balance this, but the balancing of this gun is retarded. If there is a gun that will go here, we'll put it back up though. The Mozu operator mod. This is a weird one because you might be thinking, usually, if you've watched the video and looked at everything, the operator mods usually fare better than normals. This is one of the examples where it doesn't, similar to the Outlaw, because this thing is just, you have this big telescope on it, and you can't put a long barrel, and that basically defies the whole point of the Mozu meta, which actually got it to legendary, because you can't use the same meta there. The Skull Splitter operator mod, where you can one-shot people in the head, basically the same thing that the Vendetta has, not very useful. You actually have to hip fire this gun to be accurate, because that's just how you play it, so it's a bit ass. It's basically the same thing as a Mozu though. I guess we'll put it like probably somewhere here, to be quite honest. It's a fun gun to use. It has some remnants of the Mozu meta in the more so mid-game when you're farming kills. This will still be reasonably similar to the original Mozu. You just have to hip fire the shit out of this gun. It is fun to use. That's one of the reasons it's better than Rampage. Like, I don't see myself ever bringing this shit into mid game. This shit maybe sometime, some place. If you have perks, this gun basically becomes better. Is what I'm saying. If you have decent loot. Raygun Mark 2Z. It's basically a Mog, but on steroids. So imagine this gun being the Mog, like when it became crackhead and lost all of its life and house, became peasant, lived on the streets, became impoverished, became a peon, became a peasant. Yeah, that's that. And then you have the Mog, and you have like the rich man swag version of the Mog. I think we'll actually put this here. It can actually one-shot people who redeploy, so it's free kills that way. It's not as good as this, because this can actually go big boom boom, so you can get multiple kills, and it's much safer in my opinion. This gun, you have to two-shot people who are using armor as well. Whenever you pick up one of these two guns, it's just free kills, or across the board. The reason it's better than the MP40 in my opinion is because MP40 is, again, it's the same reason, for example, as the Ecohawk being better than the SOG. The MP40, it has a saturated market, so there's a lot of competition for this. I mean, you could pick up a SOG, a VMP, Cordite, it does the same role as this. And nothing in the game actually serves the same role because it's so weirdly crazy and overpowered in the one region of its capabilities. Of course, the sad part about this, you can't brawler people, unfortunately. That's a big sadness. As you heard in the beginning of the gameplay, when I said, like, what is your favorite gun, right? Like, a lot of people ask me what my favorite gun is. I never quite knew the answer, but I did figure it out. This is my favorite gun, by the way, in the game, the ray gun. You'll see me actually switch out the Ecohawk sometimes for this gun. Sometimes I'll switch out the Stingray on my 40 bomb rebuff island back clickbait video. You'll see me absolutely like beating people down with a ray gun. So this one I think will be the greatest weird thing that you'll see in this tier list. In my opinion, this thing might actually be somewhere here, to be quite honest with you. Yeah, I think we're going somewhere up here. Might even be better than the SOG. It's very close to the SOG in my opinion. So a lot of people are like, oh my god, this shit is like, that shit makes no sense, Jacob. What are you doing? It is what it is. This gun is the golden gun of the game, so you can just one-shot people as long as you're accurate. Two-shot if it's splash damage, 20 bullets, so that's already 3 kills. Whenever you're playing Cell House and you have this shit, anyone who's close range to you just gets instantly annihilated. You can hip fire this shit and move around really fast. You have no movement penalty. Only problem is if you want to beam someone further away, just pull out your VMP though, no problem. If you have multiple people on you at the same time, fine, you'll just melt the shit out of people. It's a gun where you need a shit ton of skill to use this though, because if you're ass, you're not gonna know how to use this gun, especially because there's not enough ammo. But for me, I could probably stretch out like 10 kills, 10 easy kills with this gun most of the time, especially if people redeploy, like no problem. Especially if you have mobility brawler, oh my god, this gun becomes absolutely beastly. The best part about this gun as well is you can come in times where you need it, because if you redeploy, so I play solo squad, so it doesn't really usually happen, but sometimes if I play squad, redeploy, kill a zombie, get a ray gun, damn, going crazy, right? But you can't really do that shit with some of these guns, fortunately. So yeah, that's why this gun is amazing. If this was based off of like what I enjoy using most, this would actually be up here somewhere. It would be one of the best guns in the game. I probably enjoy using this gun more than any other gun in the game. I think, is there anything else to say about this gun? I guess it looks cool. It's probably the most sexiest gun out of all the guns on this list as well. Typically, if you were to rate it on what most people think is the best gun in the game, I think this would be, most people would say this gun is ass, but that's where I differ. Anyway, Reaver, I don't use this gun because I'm not a weirdo, I'm not gay. It's quite good, but I don't really enjoy using it particularly. Again, it shoots darts, so there's no penetration on this gun, so you can't shoot through walls. Again, one of the good things about Ecohawk, you can shoot through walls very, very well as well, especially even if you have suppressor, it shoots through walls. This gun, I would say somewhere around this category area. I mean, it's reasonable. You have to pick it out of blackjack, which makes it a bit stupid, so that's a bit dumb. I would probably say like here, it's a reasonable gun. You can pick up darts from the floor, so you do get your ammo back sometimes. I just don't feel like it's consistent enough for me to even bother picking this shit up. Usually if I find this, I'll just hide it so no one else can get it. Rising Tide, another one of these. I'm pretty sure this hasn't actually made that much noise, so I guess we'll just put it there. I mean, it looks cool as a sword. I guess for its coolness, we'll put it up here. Backhander, that's kind of gay. We'll put it down. Yeah, there we go. That looks like a reasonable tier list. Wow, and money, because I'm a grinder. The Maddox RFB operator mod. Funniest thing about this gun is it's probably worse than the original Maddox, in my opinion. It basically makes your Maddox weird, where it shoots similarly to an AN, where some of the bullets are faster than the others. So this it's like a burst gun that's fully automatic. That's the best way to describe it. And it shoots 2 bursts automatically. I guess we'll put it here. Like, I mean, it's not the worst gun in the game, but I would never use this shit because it's kind of ass. The only benefit you have is you get full attachments when you pick this shit up, and it's way more consistent than most of these guns down here. But in comparison to Maddox, yeah, this shit is ass. There is also one attachment that's missing. I think it's the long barrel, if I'm correct. I think it is the long barrel, but I can't remember that for certain. But I know one of the attachments that's missing is actually very important, and that just makes it ass to a point where it's like, oh well, that's garbage. RK7. To be quite honest with you, this gun is actually quite good early game. I don't know if the cap is better. I think I actually prefer the RK7 because it's more beefy than the cap. The cap just shoots like potatoes, whereas this shoots actual bullets, but the bullets, like, they don't really hit because it has no long barrel, so no velocity on this shit. I think the Hades overall more consistent. I think everything up here more consistent than this thing. The upgrade path is okay, especially if you get extended mags. It does make it really good. These guns here, they're just in such a category of weapons which I don't really find a reason to use them, like, ever. They get switched out. The RK7 I might keep for a bit longer in the early game. The Stingray, we're actually gonna overflow on this on the Divine tier list. The Stingray is like the option C of Blackjack. So like usually you have option A, option B, option C in Blackjack for your second gun. The Stingray is like quite an interesting gun to use. I don't really know if I prefer it over the Peacekeeper. In my opinion, these are very close together. I think I'll put it overall below because of consistency. Its upgrade path is amazing because it has hybrid, which the Peacekeeper also has. So these do quite well with that. One thing about the Eco-Hawk though, even though it doesn't have hybrid, it has really good ammo capacity, which is 66 bullets, again, because it's an LMG hybrid. Back to the Stingray though, one quirk about this gun, you can actually get half, like, Brawler when you have this just by default. Like, if you punch someone, it does, like, 75 damage instead of the normal 20, so you can actually 2-punch people who redeploy. That's cool. And also, this gun has infinite ammo glitch, so it's one of the only guns in the game which has infinite ammo. It is actually the only gun in the game which has infinite ammo, so you can, if you pick this up, technically you can infinite ammo spam. You'll never have to worry about ammo again. Only problem is the velocity of this gun is inconsistent, and it doesn't wall pen, which is sometimes usable in Alcatraz, and not so much in Big Map though. So this gun, that's why I would put it like a bit below. There's a few things that are a bit iffy about this gun, but overall it fills its role very, very effectively, in my opinion. The Savage Impaler, the one gun that came from my favorite zombies map of all time, and it's kind of ass, ain't gonna lie. Unfortunately. I think we might put this on the ass tier, actually. It's not actually that bad, but it's just shit to the point where I don't know why you would actually pick this shit up, to be quite honest. Like, I would actually rather have these guns. First of all, these guns, you can actually have ammo on them, and they have an upgrade path that kind of makes them okay. With this gun, you pick it up out the box, and it's basically a worse version of a Reaver. It's not horribly bad to a point where you can't get kills on, like, these guns, but it's difficult to use for no reason, and most of the time you will pick this up, you'll pick it up when you have a Strife. The reason it's ass is because the Strife is actually better than the gun you're picking up and trading it out for, which is kind of counterintuitive, obviously. Oh, I thought I was missing the Strife. The Strife is there though. Anyway, the Titan Operator mod makes your whole screen shake like an earthquake. In comparison to the normal Titan, I mean, it's basically the same thing. It doesn't have a long barrel, but the long barrel isn't that important on this gun. It's quite, I mean, I guess you'll put it, I don't really know. I mean, it's okay. It's not really that amazing. I think we'll just put it here, to be quite honest with you. LMGs in this game fare quite weak, except like 2 of them, which you'll see the second one, obviously this, and the second one will come up later. But this gun is just, you'll pick it up in an early game and you'll never use it again. Damage wise, it's weaker than most of your ARs. It also doesn't have movement speed. And another thing about LMGs is they have the bullshit of fire movement penalty. So if you fire, you get even further movement penalty to your strafe, which just makes it annoying to even try to use. The SDM, oh my god, I forgot this thing existed. I've never personally used it. If you fully upgrade this, it could possibly be better than all of these guns, possibly. But if you don't upgrade it, I mean, it's kind of ass. To be quite honest, overall it is better though, because even if you pick it up off the floor and like find it randomly, it technically is more consistent than these guns. I would still preferably take the Essex, because the Essex doesn't have, the Essex actually has one thing that is better than this. It has aim assist. This doesn't have aim assist. You're just kind of screwed if you use that piece of shit. Secret Santa, I mean, I guess we'll put it here. It looks good. Doesn't make sound, so yeah, it's quite dope. Vapor XKG with the bayonet attachment. There's actually a negative and a bonus to this. I don't think we've done the other Vapor. Yeah, the other Vapor is there. Yeah, there is a bonus to this, which is obviously you can melee people in one shot. The negative to this though is that you can't actually brawler them because the bayonet doesn't have a launch animation. So it's sort of pick your poison. I would preferably use the normal Vapor with a brawler instead of this with a bayonet. But again, that does make it reasonably better in comparison to other guns if you're just picking up naked. Also, it comes with full attachments obviously because it's purple. I think we're gonna put this like here, ain't gonna lie. Or actually, we might do something like this. To be quite honest with you, I don't even know how I put this up so high. I might actually put this like here, to be quite honest, this Reva. Again, for the same reasons I mentioned before. I would honestly rather have most of these guns rather than this gun. I hate using this piece of shit. It is undeniably quite reasonably good though in some situations. That's why it's better than these guns, even though I'll pick up most of these guns other than that. I think we'll put the Vapor here. The one good part about the Vapor is that it has really good time to kill. So let's get the second Vapor. That's why, in my opinion, it's better than KN than this thing. And also, oh, okay, fine. We didn't go in order, but it's okay. So yeah, I think the second Vapor would be slightly better because of the brawler. I would possibly think about putting it above the ICR because the ICR has less time to kill. This has better time to kill. It really is personal preference. At this point, you're getting into a gun range that's so similar to an extent that like it really doesn't matter. But if it were down to me, I think I would rather take the Vapor because of the faster time to kill. So it shoots faster. Then the ICR has more recoil. Weird thing about this recoil is it actually goes like, it doesn't go up sometimes. Like for the first bullets, it goes down and up. Series 6 Outrider. Well, this is one of the worst ones because it actually makes sound. Like you have the hi-ya sound every time you punch someone. That's garbage, unfortunately. Actually 12. This gun is actually really good for early game. Later than that, okay. And then after that, it's, I don't know, it's reasonable. I think it's actually kind of like, it's like an epic tier, like, in my opinion. I would probably put it like somewhere here. If you have attachments on this, and if you have the full upgrade path done and completed, I think it could be here. The Cordite has the issue where I'm switching this shit out for like everything. It's like this, the switchblade when it comes out. So yeah, it doesn't really, but this you can't, it has a role that's served, which is quite reasonable. 2-shot kill in most cases if you can get this upgraded, especially in Cell House, very deadly. But if you're trying to keep this for longer, not so much. But early game, mid game, very good gun. Sleigh Bell. This actually does make a little bit of sound, but it's quite a cool looking one. I don't know, we'll put it somewhere here. Ooh, there we go. Like, yeah, that's a reasonable melee weapon ranking. Sparrow. I think we'll put this in Divine, obviously. I don't really know exactly where we can put this. Sparrow really is dependent on, do you have perks? Or do you not have perks? Because if you have perks, mainly mobility, this gun actually becomes much better. Also, this actually spawns in the map, so it's one of the only special guns which spawns in as a spawn location. It's like a mini Easter egg sort of thing. Has a few locations on the map that you can actually get this from, so you can actually get this in the early game. I would probably say this is somewhere like here, in my opinion. We'll think about this one again. So one of the bonuses is, unlike the War Machine, this doesn't get countered by reinforced. The War Machine will, like if you someone has reinforced, like they're never gonna die. Sparrow, they will die if you direct impact them, which is obviously a positive. The only problem I have is with ranking this is, I'm not sure if I'll put it above this shit or below this shit, because it doesn't have ammo, but it is a lot of free kills. It's definitely, in my opinion, better than these two, because obviously more consistent. One thing that's an issue with this thing though is because it's like a bow, or logically like a bow is long range, so it doesn't have the same role as the ray gun and these. This is much more a special gun centered towards medium distance, which makes it slightly more difficult to use, because obviously you're shooting an arrow, an explosive arrow, so it has travel time, so it's harder to lock onto people. And if you shoot people in close range, it has very high splash damage, and also the bow will not insta-kill people, unlike the ray gun if you just tap it, so it will stick instead of insta-kill. Actually, it will always stick, I'm pretty sure, especially if they have trauma kits. So it can open up a bit of bullshit, but it's a very good gun. I'm focusing more on the negatives, but if you try and ignore them, one shot, one kill. If you have trauma kit and you stick, no problem. If you have reinforced and you stick, no problem. Everyone dies. Splash damage really good. You can get multiple kills. So yeah, it's a very good gun. But I do like using these guns more, and they're more consistent. Spitfire. Spitfire is actually a really good gun in my opinion. You never run out of ammo, which is quite dope. I'm actually considering where this would go. To be quite honest with you, I'm actually surprised it's gonna go this high. But I think we're definitely gonna put it in the legendary tier somewhere. Probably like, I guess because that's from a blackjack, we'll put this above, because that's just a blackjack gun, so it's just rest in peace. So I guess we'll put it here. This in overall statistically is, in my opinion, better. But this is quite good, especially if you have the upgrade path of this gun. It can actually take hybrid as well, which is very good. Never run out of ammo. Decent, very good time to kill. Only problem is, consistency wise, it's quite ass. So this is actually statistically better. Only problem again, and it keeps handicapping it, is you have to sacrifice VMP for it. This is negotiable though for me. I'm not quite certain about this. I might put it down like here, possibly. I think that might actually be something we do. Put it down a bit. Yeah, I think we might put it like on the top of Epic instead. We'll think about this one. What did I just take? Oh, I took the wrong one. Yeah, I think it's here. The reason it's worse than the op, in my opinion. Op kills much faster. That's basically it. Whereas this one is slower, so it doesn't have that much pack-a-punch in its identity. And I think this would be a better spot, because these guns are still really good overall. And even though this like gets taken out from a VMP, it's still much better than this. Strife, that's an interesting one. This gun is really good. You can find it anywhere, because everyone has it when they redeploy. I guess you could say it's divine in some interpretations, but we're not gonna do some weird shit like that right now. My trigger finger is really good because it's an Apex keyboarder, so I guess we'll put it somewhere on the top, to be quite honest with you. The issue with this gun is consistency wise, which we'll talk about this as well. This gun, like pretty shit on ping. Same with this gun, pretty shit on ping. 45 cal guns for some reason magically do shit on ping, and also guns which shoot like, which have, I don't know, but like this specifically does horribly on ping, especially if you don't have a long barrel. It becomes retarded to try and hit people. So that's a disadvantage. Most of the other guns, I mean, it's whatever. It doesn't really matter if you have high ping or not. I guess we'll put this shit on like epic. Probably. Where did I put it? Yeah. It really depends situationally. But in most cases, I would probably rather have... It's very difficult to choose this shit. Because it's like, you can't really compare these guns very well. Longer range, shorter range, consistency, kill potential type shit. I guess personal preference, if I were to pick up one or the other, I think Strife I would prefer. Stronger sort of is a nicer candidate as a stronger gun in my opinion. The SWAT is probably the best AR that comes from the ground. It's arguable though which one is the best. I mean, it's quite reasonably close to the Grav, but I think this one is better. It's more consistent. It's sort of like the worst version of the Peacekeeper, and this is the worst version of the EcoHawk. But in this case, unlike this side where they are this way around, this flips, in my opinion. I think this is slightly better. Time to kill wise, it's better, which obviously that's what you want. And consistency wise, it's better. This gun's recoil makes it fine in most cases, but in some cases it's just a bit stupid. Whereas this gun just can melt, like, in whatever situation. It can also supplement a lot easier for close range than this gun can, because of its faster fire rate. So I'm gonna put it there. Switchblade. The last video I did on a tier ranking video, tier list video, I actually put the Switchblade above the Sorg, which is statistically true. But I'm gonna put like personal preference here now. And logically speaking, if I were to take personal preference, I actually feel more comfortable with the Sorg. That's nothing really based off of stats. Well, it actually is. Sorg, imagine a Sorg. Sorg is like the faster gun. Switchblade is the gun which is more like consistent and overall more damageful in some form. But I do prefer Sorg better. Also, Sorg has more ammo than this thing. And this thing actually runs out of ammo quite quickly. So Sorg I actually enjoy using more than Switchblade. Both of these are like the B-Tech versions of VMP though. They're like the VMP's sons, basically. I think this is a reasonable spot. These are very close. Imagine the very, very close. I think, to be honest, the ranking of these would be the closest in tier list, the gap between them. And also, obviously, these gaps here, very close. This whole area here is quite close, actually, in fact. Except when you get up here, these are sort of on their own level there. Swordfish, I forgot this shit even existed, oh my god. This is actually not even a bad gun. It's definitely the best tac rifle you can get. And it's actually a gun where if you pick it up in the early game, it's quite decent. And it can actually work in a later game as well. I would honestly argue it could probably be like up here sort of area towards the rampart. Now with this ABR operator mod, I don't know if I would actually take the rampart over it. This might actually be worse, to be quite fair with you. I don't know, because the rampart isn't like so garbage, but technically this is better. And let me just think. Yeah, this is technically better. I believe so. Actually, consistency wise, yeah, we'll keep it as it is. Swordfish though works quite well. We might move it down. Yeah, I think we'll move it down a bit. Mainly because this is still an AR. It's like the average sort of AR build variation. So like a variation of the ICR, Vapor, KN. So because that's like slightly better consistency than this. I forgot this gun actually. Yeah, I forgot this gun existed as well. A Tiger Shark is an LMG which actually isn't garbage, although it comes from the Blackjack. So it's just a bit. Why would you pick this out of the Blackjack type of situation? I guess we'll play it safe with this one. Is put it like around this area because I never really use it, but from what I'm aware of that, it is actually pretty decent as a LMG. Although there are some which are better, which we'll still come to later. I mean, it's quite... I guess it's just good, to be quite fair with you. I might put it like to the top of good. Somehow the Maddox is better than this, I guess, because this is off the floor. I would rather pick out the Maddox than this, possibly. Actually, I think we'll put it up. We'll put it up here. Yeah, I think this is a reasonable spot to put that shit. Titan. Oh, this shit is ass. 1 second. Let me just find a good place to bury this. We could put it in ass. It will be higher ass. To be quite fair with you, I'm not quite certain if we either want to put it here or below. Oh my god, where did it go? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this one. Problem with this, again, it's the same shit as the Titan operator mod, but it's just kind of... Actually, we'll just put it next to the Titan operator mod in that case. But actually, that's actually weird because this gun is definitely better. So we'll put it below. I think we'll put it below. Yeah, I think this would be a reasonable place to put the Titan. Because at this point, these guns are like very unusable. The more you get out of early game, these will last a bit longer out of early game. And they will have some more potential you can use them for. Mainly because they're like really shit variations of ARs. High capacity ammo, obviously, but really bad handling of everything. Damage, accuracy even, recoil, velocity. Recoil is reasonable, but it's just, and movement. Yeah, movement is the worst part about this with these guns. So they're very horrible to try and handle, but they're still reasonable enough towards the point where, like, they're usable. Yeah, this is a usable tier, so I think they're in the perfect place. The Tomahawk, you might be thinking it's not even a gun, Jacob, but there's one cool fact about this gun. It's basically a knife that you can throw, so I kept it in. This gun has one simple reason why it's cool to include on this list. It's the only thing you can actually shoot people with when you're looting a bag. I've never done that before because I never picked this gun up because it's ass, but I mean, it is a bonus. I guess we'll put it here. I mean, it's technically fists plus a tomahawk, so it can't go lower than fists, luckily for it. But obviously these ones are way better because this thing is garbage, but it's cool to include anyway. Swordfish Op is actually one of the much better guns in this tier list. I think we'll put it... We might... Actually, a cool fact about this gun, it was in my world record game, the 47 one, that went from 21st of December to 25th of August of 21 and 22. So I mean, this gun is actually quite reasonable. I don't know if we'll put it in divine tier. I kind of want to put it in divine because it's definitely very, very good. If I were to put it divine, I'm thinking either this spot here or this spot here. I think this definitely deserves a spot here because this is one of the best longer range guns you can get. It feels like an Eco Hawk roll very, very well, and its upgrade path is already there. The 4x scope on it works really well, and it melts people, especially if they have nothing on. So I think we either put it here, we might even put it above this, to be quite honest with you. I do think the Hades is slightly better though overall. So I think this is a reasonable spot to put that shit in. The Vendetta. I used to actually use this gun when like a long time ago. I used to use this gun. I probably used it when I first came to Alcatraz as well. This gun though, it ain't really that great. I mean, if you use rapid fire, I guess it's good. You can use a Damon with it, I guess. It comes from Blackjack, so this is like, you have to switch out one of these 3 guns for it, which makes it garbage. It is quite epic though. I mean, we could put it in legendary as well in this tier. Consistency wise, it's okay. I think we'll put it like somewhere here probably. I would still actually, there's one good part about this gun. Might have to put it higher, in fact. Yeah, I think somewhere here would be nice. There is one interesting part about this gun, which is the muzzle flash of this weapon is so bad that it actually makes... It's the one singular case in Black Ops 4 where muzzle flash is worse than recoil to some extent. And that's why a suppressor is actually really good. The suppressor in the game has a second ability, which is it removes muzzle flash, or it nullifies it. most of the time that's unimportant, never matters. For this gun it does though, so with a suppressor it does actually come quite beastly. I think I've uploaded some gameplay in the past, and I have a lot of 30s, so quite difficult to find, but you can see me pick this shit up and just like beasting people across the map, headshotting them. So it is quite a good gun for that, especially because it's definitely the best sniper in the game, so it extends the range of your capabilities. It's not as consistent as a Eco Hawk, obviously, but it does pack a punch in certain predicaments where you need a lot of range for people, and it can hold very long distances, I think, to the greatest extent, definitely because of its precision, definitely better than all of these guns up here. The only question is, why would you want to hold long distances when you can just close them? That's usually what I do, but if it is needed, I'll pick it up, and it's very good as a gun. The VKM, this gun is kind of ass. I mean, I don't really know where we're gonna put this shit. It's pretty much garbage. Definitely worse than Titan. We might have another gun in the ass tier. Yeah, I think we're putting this shit in the ass tier. Oh god, I don't know if I want to have this or the Savage Impaler. I would probably rather take the Savage Impaler, because at least this thing doesn't weigh you down for no reason, so you can actually move. That's quite reasonable. The only issue is, again, as an LMG, it's supposed to do damage, but it's like the multiplayer variation does a lot of damage. Blackout 1 doesn't do any damage at all. It's basically the same damage as like sort of an SG-12 or an Auger, but then it shoots so much slower and you literally can't move while you're shooting this gun. So whenever you use this, I mean, you're basically gonna die no matter what you do, so it's quite unfortunate. Its penetration value for armor as well, which I never talked about guns. Some of these guns have like really shit armor penetration, in my opinion. I think this is one of them. At least it feels like it. The Daemon is another one where armor penetration is kind of garbage. Let me try and think if there's any other examples that are really important to use. I think it's mostly, I think Essex actually is another one, which you would think should have more, but it doesn't. So yeah, I think we'll put that there. This Vitelander. Now this is an interesting one to use, because this gun is definitely either the best or the second best LMG, depends who you're really asking. I've uploaded a 40 with this before. Obviously, I think this might be the same 40 as that ray gun game that I was talking about before. It's definitely somewhere in the divine tier, which is where, I mean, you can argue Hades, it's better or worse than the Hades, or it's down here, closer towards these guns. Statistically speaking though, because of how much of a melt machine it is, I don't really pick it up too much, because it has no upgrade path. It's the same thing as an MP40 where it just sort of exists. And I would usually rather just pick it up like in case I 100% need it. I don't know. I'm thinking this is one of the rare cases where I actually don't use a gun that's really good, that I should be using in some case more often. I guess we'll put it here, to be honest, with the Hades. The reason I don't use it so much, I'll explain my points. First of all, it has no attachments, so transferring your loot from this gun to the next is impossible, because obviously it has no attachments on it, so you can't just pick it up and keep your upgrade path of whatever gun you already had. That's one of the issues. Second issue is an LMG, so you can't move for shit. Eco Hawk is technically better. Next issue is the recoil of this gun is really weird, because it's actually a 2-barrel gun. It's 2 guns in one, so they shoot at the same time. It's the same thing as an Eco Hawk. I think these are the 2 guns in the game which are 2-barreled, and that just makes the recoil feel a bit off. Other than that though, no problems. Very consistent, amazing damage, melts people across the map, annihilates people. Doesn't matter what armor they have, they will get annihilated. And actually, one of the other parts that's kind of unfortunate with this gun is the reload speed. I think the reload speed is really what does it for me. The Hades actually has really good reload speed, so it's fast. This gun, it just feels like a It feels like a trait. It's like a trade-off. You get some good parts of it, get some garbage parts for it. If you look at everything on the Divine tier list, most of these guns are very consistent. Ray gun is consistent for me, mostly will not be consistent for other people though. Sparrow, all of these, like, they have consistency in their realms. This is one of the few examples where this gun lacks consistency because of the negatives it does. And obviously you have the Mog, which is on the lower side. So this could be something that's like, you could argue for it to be like up here, or I guess down here, depending on what you really want. I don't know if I'll put it down here, because technically I would rather take the Swordfish operator mod over this shit, to be quite honest with you, and I would rather take that over this, and technically I would rather take this over that. So this gun is quite an out of place weapon, in fact. But I think this is a reasonable place for this to be in. I don't know if we should put it actually lower than these as well, because these guns are quite good as well. I don't know. It's a hard tier list, ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna think about it. Give me 30 seconds, and I'm gonna try and consider my approach. I think we'll put it below, because I don't actually use this gun that much, and even though it's really good, and you can find it literally from zombies, so you can just find it out of nowhere. The fact that I don't actually use it should be telling of the fact that it isn't actually as appropriate for my style as I might deem it to be on paper. So we'll put it down below a bit. The Mozu, again, is meta. So both of these guns are actually meta that's not discovered in the game. They're like secret meta, I guess you could say, because no one uses this shit, but they're both really good metas that are not found or not popular in Alcatraz. So I guess they're the hidden metas. I guess it's reasonable to put them together. I do prefer the Mozu meta over the Zweihander meta, because the Mozu meta is fast. This one isn't. This one is an LMG, so it's a slow meta. And anyway, yeah, I guess we'll sub to Jakube-K. We'll put out the question mark. That's basically the whole tier list, though. I mean, you can tell me what you think about this shit. If you agree or disagree. I'm just gonna go through it and see, like, if anything seems a bit stupid to change, like stupid, so I need to change it. I guess we could put the Mog down a bit from Divine, because I really don't really like this gun that much. And probably pull a few of these down as well. So I could do this, technically, if I wanted to. I guess I think we'll put these up though, where they are. This could also be something like this, depending on who you're asking. For me though, I don't like Mogs, so we'll put it there. Yeah, I think it's a reasonable tier list. I think mostly what people will disagree with is the ray gun choice, the Maddox choice, possibly some of these choices, the KN choice, some people might disagree with. So someone definitely is going to disagree with the Mozu, because they haven't seen the meta yet. Because I haven't uploaded a video with the meta right now. I think this is a reasonable tier list in my opinion. I don't think this is something that's like too bad. Oh yeah, we never ranked the bottom ones. I guess we'll take a look at those now. The Rising Tide. I mean, I don't use melees. This looks reasonable. All I know is that these ones make a lot of noise. The rest, not really. And the bow knife makes the most noise because you can actually hear it through walls. Well, technically, same with the home wrecker. This shit you can hear through continents. But yeah, I think that's about it, to be honest. So, if you enjoyed the video, tell me. If you want to see, like, different variations of this shit or something for the Gloire Black Ops 4, tell me. Doesn't really matter. I can make, like, a custom tier list. If you want to see the tier list, just ask me. Like, if you want, if you want to use the tier list, you just ask me. I can link it or something to you. Message me on Instagram or something, because I don't know if this is public or not, because I made this custom made myself. You better sub and like, because cutting out all these images individually with a pen tool took hours and hours of work. So you better be subscribing right now. Sorry for taking so long for this video though, actually, because funny story about this video was I recorded it in February or possibly January. But then halfway through, I just couldn't be asked, and then I forgot about it until now, until someone on my streams like, you should do a ranking video. I was like, okay, yeah, time to do this video, time to pull it out of my ass. Let's go, let's get ready to grind for an hour speaking about random guns on the game. But anyway, if you enjoyed the video, thank you very much. Like, share, and sub for the Glory of Black Ops 4, Vive la Gloire de BO4, and I'll see you in the next one. Farewell.